Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Mission Empowered podcast with me, your host, Emily. Hope you're all doing fabulous today. So, today, number one, I'm sitting down. It's cold. I know I should be getting up moving, but I just sat down with a coffee because I feel like this episode. So, I had a little bit of a revelation. One of my clients, and she'll know who it is when I talk about this. But she messaged me the other day and she said, I'm so glad you're doing your podcast on video now because I just feel like I can watch him just having a conversation with you. And that sort of resonated with me because I feel like recently, especially since I've changed the podcast over onto video as well, I've tried to be I'm always trying to be informative on it, but I feel like I pulled away from being me a little bit, maybe in some kind like a little bit less relaxed about it. And the whole reason I started this podcast way over a year ago now is because I feel like I am like the best coach, best version of me when I'm just being me, when I put my own personality into it. So I thought, right, well, if I sit down today just with a coffee, which hasn't gone too well because I finished it, and then today I'm obviously going to talk about, by the title, is like my own fat loss fails that I've done over the years that one, you can relate to, because I guarantee if not all of them, you relate to some of them, but two, also to remember, like, I've been where you are. Like, I've always been into fitness, even since I was a kid. I loved PE in school, always been like super active, but I have struggled with my weight. It's not like I have, no, but I have yo-yo, definitely have yo-yos in the past, but I mean, I always struggled to get to the physique that I wanted to be, which is basically where I am now. Like, I'm super happy with how I am now. Like, I'm not the skinniest I've ever been. I'm not, the biggest I've ever been. But for me now, I am the strongest, fittest, most confident. That's probably got a little bit to do with age as well. But I basically know what I know now, what I always wish I would have known, which obviously makes me a good coach, but it makes me hopefully relatable to you. Anyway, round the house as we go, as always. This podcast is a relatability one. That's what it's about. And hopefully a bit of a laughing one. I feel like we've been lacked in laughing recently on the pods. And again, that's just something I like to bring to you guys. So let's get into it. Right, so my fat loss fails, as I've said, just a bit of background then, because again, a lot of time on my Insta, you see me in the gym, you see me doing photo shoots. I did actually go through my old archive and find some absolute fucking bangers of what I looked like over 10 years ago. And even I look at it and I'm like, whoa. I literally look like my face has been blown up. I look like I've had an allergic reaction. That's what I look like. I do carry weight on my face. I am one of them people, like, my face changes and I know when I've put weight on. I can see it in photos. I can see my face. Like, for me, that's a telltale sign. And tits as well. Yeah, my boobs are literally like I don't know what they would be like. I went to say talking, but they definitely don't talk. But my boobs, anyway, when I put weight on, they're the first thing that put weight on. And when I lose weight, they're the first things that go. So, yeah, they're my telltales, my boobs and my face. But yeah, so circa 10 years ago, I was not where I am. I was about 2 to 3 stone heavier than where I am now. Again, guys, bearing in mind, always worked in the gym, always been training. This is why I zone in on foods and daily habits are the key to like sustainable fat loss and getting results. And training in the right way as well. So I never used to train in the right way, which we'll cover. But yeah, I've always been super active. I've always been like health conscious. But for me, what you don't know, you don't know. And this is why I always say to people, like, don't be mad at yourself. Like, if you can't lose weight, you're obviously just lacking in education or lacking in accountability. You're lacking in something, because if you really want to lose weight, obviously you would do it. But sometimes it's not the discipline that we're lacking. It's the education that we're lacking. Right. So that's like a little backstory about me then. Like, I used to struggle with my weight. I've always been super active. Late 20s, early 30s, I did a complete life overhaul. Late 20s as well, really, really late 20s was when I really started upping my game into like knowledge, education. I would love to know if there was like a pinnacle. If it was, I genuinely think it was about the age of like 28, 29. I was like, I need to get my shit together here. And I started doing like my own education. So it's one of them, isn't it? Whatever works on your timeline. is what it is. Right, so number one then, let's just start from the top. I've got my notes, and I did just go through to like mark like age stamp when this all started. So I might mess up on the order, but let's get into it. The first one, which was the first one on top of my mind, was Weight Watchers, Slimming World, fad diets. I stepped into that world at the age of 15. I was still in school when I went to my first Weight Watchers meeting. And there was a group of us that went. I don't know whether we were bored. I don't know whether that played a part. I can't ever remember really thinking, oh my God, like I need to go on a diet. Anyone else who grew up in the 90s like I did, 90s, naughty years, I think it was just like a fashion thing. Like when we had magazines, you would read them and every single page would be something about someone's figure or something about a diet. And it wasn't like I don't think obviously we realised the damage it was doing until now. All the 30-year-olds are like stressing out and don't know their arse from the head when it comes to what food to eat. But yeah, I don't ever remember like being really hung up on my weight, like in a really bad way. I definitely remember thinking I want to go on a diet. I want to be skinnier. I want to be smaller. I remember thinking that, but I don't remember it being like super, super deep. So anyway, at the age of 15, I got dropped off and I remembered exactly what Weight Watchers meeting I went to, and guidance from my good old Tommy, Big T, my dad, who was, again, you've heard me mention this on previous episodes, but in my household, it was always my dad that was on a diet, never my mum. But yeah, so my dad dropped me off. I was meeting the girls there. The girls, like, that's what I mean. I think it was a bit social. And I was like, right, have your tea before you go to the first meeting. So then next week, don't have your tea before you go, and at least you'll be lighter. And I remember thinking, fucking what a great idea, Tommy T. Yes. So that's what I did. And yeah, so I remember going to Weight Watchers. I remember having the little logbook, counting me points. What a fucked up mentality for a 15-year-old, by the way. Terrible. But yeah, so I remember taking a fiver and getting weighed, raiding the Weight Watchers store and eating all that while they rambled on about the front. Honestly, would love to go back into one of their meetings now and hear what they're saying and listen back and think, flipping heck. I remember the woman as well. I remember what she looked like. Like, she was little. She had about a whole kind of hairspray in her hair, big blonde beehive. She was probably about 40, 50. I don't remember what her name was, but I remember it. Anyway, and I remember the scale she used to stand on. Oh, take your shoes off. Yes, babe, take your shoes off, because that's the biggest thing fucking impacting your weight. Not what you've eaten for your breakfast, your lunch, or you've been for a poo, or you've had bad sleep. Oh, right. So remember, yeah, take your shoes off, get on the scales, and then you'd have like your little logbook. Couldn't tell you if I lost weight or not. Couldn't tell you. Obviously, at some point, got bored and left. And then over the years, rejoined and left again. I remember if I ever went to rejoin, I wonder if anyone else does this, I always used to make sure I went to a different meeting. Like, I would never go back to like the same church hall that I did that one in. I would always rejoin at a different one. Lol. And I remember when I did rejoin, was dad dropped me off again. Right. Weight Watchers is the first one. Then my dad lost loads of weight on the Atkins diet. If anyone remembers when the Atkins diet came out, if you're a little bit younger and you are listening to this, the Atkins diet was the super low carb diet, but no, not low carb in like the healthy-ish way that you can do it now. Like, is there a healthy-ish way? I don't know. Park that idea. But basically, meat, cheese. This was my diet. My diet when I went on the Atkins was turkey rashers with cheese on in the morning. Then in school, because I was still in school when I did this, I'd go to the big, like the place where you got your meals from, the lunch hall, whatever. I used to get 2 burgers, obviously didn't eat the bun, Atkins. Then I would have a Diet Coke and then a packet of Chewies. Then when I got in from school for my tea, I had like a bowl of chili, like a bit chili or bolognese with more cheese on. And yeah, I think that was it. And like, I don't even know how long I did that for. Not very long, obviously unsustainable. But I remember weighing myself and losing like a lot of weight quickly and thinking, oh my God, this works. Ugh. No, low carb diets work because you're not having carbs. So yes, in the first 2 weeks, you will see I've seen people lose a stone in 2 weeks doing the Atkins diet, doing low carb. Girls, it is not fat. Okay, a small amount might be fat because, again, if you're cutting all them carbs out, you're obviously dramatically decreasing carbohydrate calorie intake. But a lot of it is water storage dropping out your system. Okay, so yeah, they were like my biggies, Weight Watchers, and then I did try loads of other fad diets as well. Yeah, like loads of stupid low calorie diets. Anyway, the thing is, they were the biggies for me. They were my fat loss fails. Going to slimming clubs who haven't got a clue what they're talking about. And I saw something on Instagram the other day, which I was like, why are more people not cottoning onto this? Okay. Weight Watchers and Slimming World, right? Huge, multi-what, billion, trillion pound companies. They know what they're doing. They want you to stay a member, so they keep giving you money. So why are they doing what they're doing? Because their formula makes you think you can't go and do that anywhere else. So what are you going to do? You're going to keep paying the money. When you work with a coach with a moral compass, just wave it to everyone who's watching. Hello. The first thing I will say to you on the call is, let's get you in and out working with me within 6 to 12 months. Go and live your life. Don't be consumed by food and stressing about food for the rest of your life. That's not what I want. I want you in and out with me, 6 to 12 months, game change, life change. See you later. Okay, because I've got a moral compass. Okay, so I probably will never be, I don't want to put that out to the universe. I won't be a trillionaire, millionaire in the way that Slimming World clubs are, but who knows, I might be in other contexts. The podcast might get a level up and we'll get the money in. But yeah, so think about that if you are a Slimming World Weight Watchers, especially coming into this time of Christmas, thinking, oh, I'm going to sign up next year. Babes, do yourself a favour. Save your time. Save your, what's a word, like self-respect of how clever you are. There's a reason why they are the way they are, because they want to keep you in there. They want to keep you coming back. They want to get you down to your goal weight, inverted commas, and then they want you to come back off when it's not sustainable because you can't do it with their formula. All right, so number one, wow, come on now. Where are we? 12 minutes, let's move this on. So yeah, they were my number one fails, Weight Watchers and the Atkins diet with a big fat no-nos, and they were when I was 15. The second one of my fails, that I wrote these down sort of how quickly they came to my head, and also was very surprising how quickly I got 10 fat loss fails down. I was like, wow, I've done loads. Number two was alcohol. So as you all know, the way I coach is I want you to have a social life. Like, I come on here to be a realist, okay? I am not here to say you can't ever drink, you can't ever go out, X, Y, and Z. But it's all about compromise, it's all about balance, it's all about education of what actually alcohol does to your results. So for me, why alcohol is one of my top 10 fat loss fails from my past is because I never understood the impact it was having. Them empty calories, the motivation, the effect on like my health, like just everything. And I was a boozer. I wonder if anyone's listening to me who's known me for like, years and years and years. But girls, I used to be, so my past is I used to be an 18 to 30s rep. I was a club rep. If you don't know what that is, don't worry, you're just too young. Time is on your side. If you know what an 18 to 30s rep is, you probably aren't shocked that I used to be one. But if you don't know what it is or what it entails, it basically meant taking people on holiday, getting them pissed, you get pissed, and just repeating that cycle for like 3-4 months. So the first season that I was an 18 to 30s rep, I managed to put on a very, very, what's the word? It's not good. What's the word I'm thinking of? Impressive. 2 stone, probably north of 2 stone. 2 stone in one season. And that's so 2 stone in about 3-4 months I put on. And I remember thinking at the time, I'm not even eating that much. That's what I used to think. But yeah, I was bevying every day. Beers, cocktails, shots, wickeds, alco pops, all that jazz. Oh my God. And that was at the age of 19. And I did that one season, and then I did the following season. So I did a season in Greece, a season in Ibiza. And yeah, I managed to put on 2 stone because I was drinking excessively. Right. Bear that in mind. So I put on 2 stone. Great. Still didn't quite get onto the fact that it was probably my drinking. And you know what? Who doesn't go out and get pissed when they're in their late teens, early 20s? Well, I feel like now generation are a little bit different because they have got like knowledge, power, social media. Fitness is a lot more trendy now. And I think, as well, it's quite, I don't want to say fashionable because I mean this in a positive. There's a lot more autonomy given to people to say, I don't drink because actually I don't like it. Whereas throw back into my day or into our day, anyone who's like, 30 plus, what else did we do? How did we meet people? How did we socialize? Because social media wasn't a thing. So you literally would go out on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday fun day, wild Wednesdays, I think Friday, Saturdays were just normal. But yeah, so alcohol for me was a big part of like my teens, early 20 years. So again, I was a rep. Then when I came home from that, I was super social, like out in the pub all the time, out with my friends all the time. I had lots of different groups of friends. Guys, still working in the gym. I still worked in the gym, which is going to come on to my next one, which is cool. So yeah, I was still working in the gym, but I would just apparently not get hangovers, or probably would get a hangover, eat shit, and then just go back out and drink again and go into that cycle. And I know now a lot of people still live that cycle, like weekend to weekend, is that you go out, you get pissed, you get through Monday, you get through Tuesday. Wednesday, you start to feel okay. Thursday, you're all right again. Friday, you're back in the pub or you're having wine in the house. And it's literally, it's a life-sucking cycle. And I've been there and I know exactly what that feels like. And yeah, like how I am now as a person, like energy wise, motivation wise, business wise, I put a lot of that down to I don't live like that anymore. Obviously I still go out and I still have drinks, and I'm just aware, and I just do what I tell my clients to compromise. Don't do it every weekend. If you get to a point where you're like, actually, alcohol isn't serving me anymore, take a break. You don't have to put your hands up and say, I'm going to be teetotal. I think, again, a lot of that all or nothing is coming about now, but you are totally okay to like take a break. Right. So for me, alcohol was my number 2. Guys, I'm going to try and be a little bit quicker on this. Right. Number 3. Fat loss fail number 3 was doing all the cardio / classes. When I started in the gym, like my gym routine used to be 20 minutes on the cross trainer, 20 minutes on the treadmill, 10 minutes on the bike. Then I used to try and do the Stairmaster, but could never quite do it because I used to put the level on too high. So I just, and that was my gym routine. I used to go to the gym and do that. And the weights area, that was for the men. I do not recall ever really seeing any women in the weights area. So again, girls who are my age, the late 20s, the early 30s, who are like, oh, I feel nervous about going in the weights area. That's probably because you grew up with that. Whereas hopefully now when you do go in the gym, you see a lot more females, training in the gym. This is probably a blessing that I see on social media, is that we can spread the word, spread the message of, girls, get yourself into that weights area. Like you've got, equal amount of, what's the word? Equal amount of, not time. I feel the pressure when the camera's on me. Equal amount. You deserve to be there. Equal amount. There we go. We'll just reword the sentence. You deserve to be there. Equal amount. So yeah, for me, a big waste of my fat loss was literally cardio and classes. And again, you people will probably think, but Em, you always go in on classes for fat loss and not working for fat loss. I know, because I used to teach about 8 spin classes a week, if not more. On top of that, I would teach 5 aerobics. Not 5. I used to teach about 10 spin classes a week, 5 aqua aerobics, 3 normal aerobics. Then I'd do some other circuit training. And then on top of that, I would still do the cross trainer, the treadmill, blah, 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 blah. And no results. Probably because at the same time I was going out getting pissed all the time. So again, 2 things there. 1, you don't get results just from doing cardio. And 2, you can't out-train being a pisshead, basically. So yeah. So for me, cardio classes, which is why I go in, My body shape dramatically changed when I virtually stopped doing cardio and focused on strength and weight training. So when I started doing CrossFit, when I started resistance training, where there was not a cardio machine in sight, there was not an aerobics in sight, like that's when my body was like, wow, this is changing. So again, like I love CrossFit. Everyone probably knows. Well, I don't speak about it that much more, but I do try and keep it up. But I did CrossFit solely on its own for like 5-6 years. Yes, my body shape dramatically changed, but for me, I've seen better physical results, like aesthetic results, since I literally just started doing weights in the gym. I like to keep CrossFit in because I like what that does for my mental health. I like how it makes me feel. I like what it does for my fitness. But again, by the way, I need to stop saying but again. I say it so many times. It's so annoying. But for me, that's why I always recommend weight training and steps and food. Weight training, steps and food. When you get to the point where things are slowing, add the cardio in. Because I've been there, I've done that. Cardio classes from the age of like 17 to 19, fucking hammering it. Not an inch, not like barely anything. Now, I'm just going to take these off as I go, actually. So the one I'm going to tie into that one because it's the same age bracket, which is going to be number 4, is fat burners and supplements. And number 4 on my fat loss fails is I have tried all the fat burners and all the supplements. Okay, so again, stop saying it. So when I say you don't need fat burners, you don't need supplements, you need to focus on food, steps, training, water, all of that, it's because I'm talking from experience. So when I say fat burners, I mean the over-the-counter fat burners and the under-the-counter fat burners. Fucking hell. People used to give me them, I'm like, what? Age of 17, taking fat burners that are meant for obese people who can't breathe. Like I was taking them, and I was probably about 1.5 2 stone overweight maximum, and I would take them. I remember working in the gym, taking them, and going onto like poolside where I used to work, and nearly fainting because I'd taken these stupid fucking fat burners. My eyes went weird, my blood pressure came up, I went all hot, and I was like, oh, like my poor, like if I knew then what I know now, and like if I could speak back to my past self, I literally would give her a hug and be, babe, get a chicken breast down, you go lift some weights, you're gonna be fine. Like, but yeah, so over the counter, I spent so many. Who remembers? Oh, let's remember what they're called. They were from Boots. Were they called Slimmerline? Someone's gonna have to message me and tell me. And the bottle was like a picture of a waist with a tape measure around it. I'm just going to go on my phone and let's see if we can find it. Wonder if you can find it. Boots, fat burners. Imagine. Let's see. No, it wasn't that one. They're definitely not going to be. Oh my god, they're still selling shit. Boots, dual action, carb, fat control. Are you joking me? £27. Wow. Guys, anyway, I can't remember what it was called. Oh, fat metabolizer. I used to have them. Hollands and Barrett. What a trip down memory road. Memory lane. Fucking memory road. Right. So anyway, there's another one. Fat metabolizer. Hollands and Barrett. You used to have that. The one from Boots. I can't remember what it's called. But I used to have that. Then I got into like, what I thought, oh, these are crap, these ones. Let's get some proper bodybuilding supplements. Well, I used to take CLA, which has got minimal, that used to be sold as like a fat burner, but it's got minimal positive minimal positive results of fat burning, but like in the bodybuilding world. What else did I used to take? So yeah, I used to take the medicated ones. I don't want to say the name because I know that some people are like, oh, I'll just Google it and someone might find it. So anyway, I used to take these others that used to, this will make you laugh, right? So I used to take these others that used to like give you energy. Okay. Do you know what? I couldn't even tell you how they actually worked, but they were illegal. So, and the girls in the gym, some of the girls in the gym used to take them, go on the Stairmaster for an hour. I'd be like, right, I'm in. So I got them. This is what I used to do. Dying what I used to do. So I used to take them, used to go on the Stairmaster for an hour. By the way, this is before you had YouTube on your phone, or I don't even think you had music on your phone. So I remember I used to have like a little MP3 player. So what the fuck I used to do on the Stairmaster for an hour is beyond me, because now I need to watch The Only Way Is Essex or something just for half an hour. But I used to go on the Stairmaster, kill it for an hour, and then I used to go to the Asda and buy a full litre of like smoothie. The amount of sugar and calories. What was I thinking? Oh my God, Diane. So yeah, I used to take the illegal fat burners that did fuck all anyway, go on the Stairmaster for an hour, and then go and get a smoothie with like with loads of sugar and stuff in. Right, moving on from that one. So there we go. Fat loss fail number 4. Fat burners and supplements. Just a side note, please don't waste your money on anything. I literally was just looking this morning on Facebook, and I saw someone pop up who I've not seen for years, because I don't really go on Facebook. And she was selling, oh, I'm dying. She was selling this shake. I'm going to see if I can find it. Oh, this is lovely, this episode. It's just like having a chat with you, isn't it? She was selling this drink, and honestly, I was dying. I was like, what are you doing? Here we go. My fave offer, loved the stuff, great marketing. Fat burner, everyone is going crazy for the strongest fat burning drink, the most highly concentrated weight loss supplement available without prescription. That's not copy and pasted, is it, love? Reduces bloating, reduces snacking, reduces water retention, suppresses appetite speeds. Honestly, I was like, wow, is she messing like of how much shit she's actually spluttering out? And I was like, people are still doing this, people are still falling for this. And yeah, it just really made me laugh, because girls, trust me, that's not what happens. Like, the best thing to reduce bloating is do some exercise and drink some water. The best thing to curb cravings is eat your protein. The best thing to speed up your metabolism is lift weights. Like, don't fall for it. Don't fall for it. Okay, next one then. Number 5. I went through a phase of, eating minimal food, like literally trying to like starve myself. So again, when I relate to people who say, I didn't really eat that much, but then overnight, like, I get starving. I'm like, I know. I literally know. I used to go to work, because when you're busy, it's easier to not think about food. When you are, just out and about and you're not thinking about food, it's really easy to go, I'm not going to do that. I used to go and work for 8 hours in a gym, by the way, and have a hot chocolate. That was it. That would get me through. Might have an orange for my breakfast. Then I used to go home and have my tea, half a biscuit tin, bowl of cereal, and any type of carbs I could get my hands on, I would do that. My mum used to always have like chocolate in like the chocolate cupboard, because she had like, and bearing in mind, when I speak about my mum and dad, remember, my mum never dieted, ever. It was always my dad, right? And my mum used to have everything. Biscuits in, she'd eat one and put it down. Chocolate, she'd have a piece of chocolate, put it away. What is this witchery bin? That's what I remember thinking. How do you do that? But because I dieted and so fixated on food, what do we tend to do? We tend to pedestal food, so we go in on it. So yeah, my mum would have the chocolate jar, I'd clear it out, and then what would I do? The next day I'd be like, oh, fuck, why did I do that? Start again, don't eat nothing. I have been there. I've literally done it. I know. And as I said at the beginning of this episode, girls, I also then know what works and why that doesn't work, because I've been there and I've lived it, and I've been in that body that replicates them habits. And now I'm in the body where I eat a lot, train well, and feel good. And that's what I always want to bring it back to. Although these are my fails, they've just built great experience for me. So yeah, eating minimal food, another one, been there, done that. Next one. Okay, that was a quick one. Woo! Oh, this is just a little side note, this one. I remember going through a phase where I used to think I need to kickstart my metabolism. I need to get my metabolism going for the day. So I'd be driving to work at 5 a.m, working in the gym, shoveling yogurt and rice cakes in my mouth, because I was like, 90 calories, that's fine. Not hungry. Starting my day off with pure carbs and sugar. And I would be genuinely thinking, yeah, but my metabolism, wow, say it, my metabolism won't work if I don't eat anything. I'm not ashamed. I'm not ashamed to say it. I think a little side note is to remember on this, guys. People working in the gym doesn't mean they're qualified in nutrition. Hello. Okay, so yeah, just bear that in mind. People giving diet advice doesn't mean they're qualified in nutrition. Bear that in mind. People with a great body doesn't mean they're qualified in nutrition. Bear that in mind. Okay, so starting my metabolism was fail number. What are we on? 6. Yeah, and that's not true. Okay, breakfast is breakfast being the most important meal of the day. Well, actually, that phrase was coined by the people who sell Kellogg's to get you eat more cereal. But I'm not saying that's not true. But what I will say is breakfast isn't the most important meal of the day. The first meal of your day is the most important meal of the day, of the choices that you choose to have in that meal. That's what's important. So it's if you're genuinely not a breakfast person, but that doesn't cause you to overeat later on the line, and you want to wait till lunch to have a high protein, balanced, high protein, carbs, fats, balanced, healthy meal, like that's fine to do that. A lot of studies show that people who don't eat breakfast do tend to overeat later in the day. So again, when I get clients coming to me or people message me and they struggle with overeating, I'm like, get a high protein breakfast in. So yeah, lols, been there, done that. Starting my metabolism, not true. Your metabolism is a bodily function that keeps you alive. It takes energy from food, and trust me, it is working all the time. The way that you can improve your metabolism though is by having lean muscle tissue, aka lift them weights, baby. So yeah. So that was number 6. Right, number 7 sort of ties into this one, what I was just saying. I always used to go for low fat products, minimal calories, less calories, and I really used to miss the trick on protein. And it wasn't until I started educating myself and surrounding myself with other coaches as well who were not shit, and having conversations, but mostly doing my own research, and was like, okay, this protein is like a thing. And when I started doing that, this makes me smile actually, because I had the same reaction to when I started eating more protein and tracking my protein as to what every single one of my clients do, or anyone who works with me on Fit in 6 is like, holy smokes, how have I not known this? How have I literally never known this? And you forget. Obviously, I talk about this a lot. I talk about it every day with my clients. It's part and parcel of my life. But I know for the majority of people, they massively undereat on protein. So when I get that reaction of, oh my God, I'm not hungry, I'm not snacking, I'm not craving sugar, I couldn't believe it. My energy's staying sustained. I'm not getting afternoon crashes, and it's down to eating more protein. What? Yeah. So for me, number 7, 8, whatever number we're on, lack of protein was a big fat loss fail that I did for many, many years, and opting for, if it was in the shop and it was a 0% Greek yogurt versus a low fat 99 calorie yogurt, I'd go for the 99 calorie one, even though it had fuck all protein in. If it was a choice between a big chicken breast in a sandwich or in a wrap versus, a wholemeal thin, by the way, this is going to trigger some of you, a wholemeal thin with one slice of wafer thin ham in, I'd go for that, because it was low calorie. So this is where eating more when you're trying to do fat loss is key. Eating more of the right stuff, eating more of the protein, eating more of your fiber. Did I not write this down as volume? Wait there. Okay, so I'm just going to tie this one in. So again, volume, lacking in volume. I always used to think salad or veggies on my plate, it was, minimal, tiny. It was like a condiment. Some veggies were like a condiment, whereas now, if my plate is not brimming with colour, veg, fibre, variety, it ain't my meal. And again, getting into your head, eating more on fat loss is what you want to do, but eating more of the right stuff. So yeah, lacking in protein, lacking in volume was a big fat loss fail of mine. And low fat products and skinnies and stuff like that, fucking terrible nightmare. Just a side note on that, guys, just to inform you. Oh, I wish I remember what they're called. Skinny noodles, maybe. So when I was last dieting for honeymoon, I got sidetracked into Home Bargain skinny noodles. And I was like, I've never seen them in the shop before. Let me try them, and then I could maybe recommend them if they're good. Oh my God. The bloat, the digestive pain. I don't know whether I shit myself or not, But I remember it not being like a great experience anyway. So I was like, and that was, I'm not even joking. As I was eating them, I was like, they do not taste right. These are heavily processed. They're not noodles. They're blah. Anyway, Googled it, banned substance in like, not as, I don't think it was banned in England, or was it? I don't know. Maybe Australia or somewhere like that. Anyway, they've basically taken a fiber supplement and made it into a noodle shape. So do me a favor, steer clear of skinny noodles, skinny pasta, zero noodles, anything like that. They're not good for you. But that's what I used to spend a lot of my money on. And there we go. I've done that so you don't have to. Okay, next one then. I'm going to try and wrap this up in the next 5 minutes. We've got 3 more to go. Number 8 was lack in structure and planning. So fat loss fail around structure, around planning. I used to think I was doing a diet, but I would have no clue at like what I was eating for my breakfast, my lunch, my dinner. I would just be approached with that situation. And then because I was on a diet, I would then try and make the best choice. That's not being on a diet. Number 1 key to getting results, not even just being on a diet, change your physique, being healthier. You've got to be planned. You've got to be organized. If you just want to get through life with not feeling overwhelmed, regardless of what you look like, being planned and being organized should be your number 1 priority. Like, it literally solves 100 problems. So when you are dieting, if you do not have a plan, or you are not organized, you are not organizing your meals, your shopping, where you are that week. Are you going to come up against social occasions? Are you eating out for work? If you're not planning ahead for that, you are literally putting yourself up at the top of that fail cliff and jumping off. Like, extreme. But you know what I mean? Like, that's how passionate I am about being planned and about being organized. And my clients will 100% back me on this, of how much I get on their case. I'm like, how'd you get on this week? Oh, not too good. Show me your diary. Well, yes. So that is like the number 1 probably reason why people fail, is that they don't have structure. They're not being planned. They're not being organized. And that for me was a big one, is that I used to rock up for work and physically say, I'm on a diet, and then go the calf. And I would try and order, I'd order a chicken panini and say I wouldn't eat the bread, but we all know that I would eat the insides of the bread and be like, yeah, but it's not really bread, Or I'm trying to think of something else. Order the chicken stew. I remember doing this once and saying, yeah, but no potatoes in it. And they'd give me the potatoes with the side of white bread. And I'd be like, just quickly eating it, because if I ate it fast, it wouldn't count. All of these shit things that you do, I totally used to do as well. But structure and planning is rocking up with your Tupperware. And if you're working from home like me, aren't we lucky, is going to the shop on a Sunday and buying your chicken, your salads, your potatoes to know there's my lunch done. Structure and planning is key, and that is why it was a big fat loss fail for me for many years. All over the show. 2 more. Okay, fat loss fail number 9, weekends. I'm not going to digress massively on this. We've spoke a lot about how alcohol used to be my big downfall. But again, oh, Emily, I need to stop saying again. But for me, weekends, I was a weekend warrior. I really was. And I'm still a weekend warrior now. I've just got more awareness around it. But I used to train hard. Even when I started getting educated, I used to train hard. I used to eat well Monday to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It wasn't even like I was purposely pressing the fucking button in my head thinking I'm going to mess up all my results. I would just choose to ignore it. And I would choose to go out for lunch, go out for dinner, nail a bottle of wines, have, 10 pints of beer, watching Ollie play rugby. Don't get me wrong, I was having a great time until I started to realise I'm about a stone and a half heavier. Not so much fun then. But yeah, so that was when I was like, shit, okay, yeah, you can't live your life like this. But it's not about it, and again, it's not about absolutely saying you can't do that ever again. I'm talking about I did that every single weekend for probably about a year. Now, if I had done that sporadically and compromised and structured my food and still made sure I did my steps and my workouts and managed it, like, I would have been okay. Okay. I probably wouldn't have gone back up on the scales, but you can maintain it. But yeah, weekends in a nutshell, you just can't live like a weekend millionaire Friday to Sunday. You can't get bevied Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can't eat out 3 courses Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every Sunday and expect to drop fat or even maintain a half decent physique, because number one, you can't outtrain that. There is not the logistics or the math of having 3 heavy days where you haven't double your calories versus 4 days where you're having less. Like, this 3 will always trump the 4, and that's why you can't do it. In regards to weekends, I just want to touch on like what is different for me now than different back then and how I maintain it, because you will see one of the things like principles I stand by is that I don't want people to feel like they have to sacrifice socializing, because you don't. And if you do that, all that's going to happen is you're going to massively rebound when you do go back to socializing, because socializing is important for health, but what socializing isn't is going out and getting pissed every weekend. That's not socializing, that's going out getting pissed every weekend. Okay, so you have to first of all break that marriage, which is what I did, is that I don't go out every single weekend and get trolleyed. One, because my alcohol tolerance has massively dropped in the last 10 years. But two, I found so much more joy in other things in life. So for me, if going out getting trolleyed is going to mess up my Sunday, which is my day of off work, filling my cup, walks, nature, getting my food shopping, having downtime, watching a film, like, if my Saturday night is going to impact me doing that, it doesn't really appeal to me. It doesn't really appeal to me. Every so often, I might know like I've got a big birthday or I've got a party for someone and I think I'm probably going to be a bit hungover on the Sunday. It has to be very, very, very sparse to do, like sparse and important to do that. I literally will block it in my diary and I'll be like, right, okay, I still need to make sure I get a walk in, but I'll do the shop or something else like on the day before. But it is very rare that happens. Can't bear the hangover. But yeah, for me now, my weekends look very different. I don't, if I have got a social occasion on that involves like alcohol or eating out, I'll make sure it's one of the weekends rather than being like, woohoo, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know? So yeah, don't be a weekend millionaire. It ain't paying off. You need to find joy. You need to find joy in other things, and you need to compromise with your social occasions. All right, last one, wrapping it up. Number 10 in my fat loss fails. I didn't ever have a big enough focus. I didn't ever have a big enough why. I didn't ever have a leader showing me, this, if this is your goal, this is what you need to do to get there. And the reason I've put this on number 10 is because this is why I do what I do now for my job. Because I have been there. I have literally been circa 10 years ago in the position where I speak to my clients on now. And I wish I had me then. I wish I had me now back then. Wow. I really do. And that's why I do what I do, because I didn't ever have anyone in my corner telling me, don't take fat burners, don't go to slimming clubs, don't kickstart your metabolism, like all of these things. I just never had anyone telling me, and not even telling me, but giving me the education and the power to make them choices. I just was doing what I was doing, thought it was right, which is what so many people still do now. They hear it somewhere and think, well, this is right. So yeah, I never had that. I never had a big focus. I never had someone helping me align my actions to my goals, which is really, really important. Is that if you want to be somewhere, you've got to take ownership of, well, they're the actions I need to do to get me there. And if I'm not doing them actions, why aren't I doing them? Is it because my goal isn't that important? And last thing I'll say about on goals is I didn't ever have the timeline. I didn't have anyone saying to me, okay, this is what you want to achieve. This is the period we're going to work really hard to get you there. And then once we're there, we'll look at maintaining it. I never had that. And that for me is a huge fail. And that's why, again, I do what I do now. And I put a timeline in it with my clients. What is your goal? Okay, so your goal is probably going to take us roughly about this amount of time. This is what we're going to do in block 1. This is what we're going to do in block 2. This is what we're going to do in block 3. And this is how we're going to keep you there. Happy? Yes. Cool. Let's get to work. That is literally something I never ever had until later on. And when I did have that, I was like, oh, yeah, this makes sense. Oh, shit, look at me doing a transformation in 6 months. So, yeah. Girls, that is it. Woo! 45 minutes, big one today. I really hope you enjoy this. I really enjoyed this. I just love chatting to myself, apparently. But no, to you guys. Guys, if you did enjoy it, a couple of things. Obviously, you can watch me on Spotify, but you can actually find me on YouTube now as well. Don't know if that's better for you, but you can. The Mission Empowered podcast. If you did enjoy this, please rate me on Spotify. Takes less than 60 seconds. Drop me an Insta to tell me you enjoyed it and that you're listening, and then you can share it on your socials or to other people that maybe need to hear this and get some advice. And thanks for listening. As always, really appreciate you picking me to come in your ears. Gross, sorry. And I will see you next time. Love you, bye.